Well, howdy, folks. It is episode 3 of this gaming server build. So today I'm going to be pulling the top plate off, the PCIe riser card holder out, and installing a low-profile GPU. So to open this thing up, it's pretty straightforward, pretty standard. Everything just kind of clicks and slaps into place. So with that card out, it is time to reveal our GPU. So here's a Radeon Pro WX3100. So these things can be found incredibly cheap on eBay. They have 2 mini display ports and a single display port. I highly recommend picking up one of these GPUs, even if you just need a spare to keep on the shelf. I got this one for $34. A 4 gig GDDR5, of course, GPU for $34. That's kind of a screaming deal, if you ask me. So I did also purchase a WX2100, and that is the 2 gig variant. And I thought that'd be a good backup to keep just in case. But here's the exact unit that, I sure enough got on eBay for $34. And then here's, I was saying, the WX2100, the 2 gig variant, again, $17. That's kind of crazy. Considering these aren't really for doing any sort of heavy lifting and very moderate light games, I guess we'll figure that out. I think it's an incredible buy. You can't really touch a low-powered, socket-powered GPU for anything near that. So we're going to do our graphics driver install, make sure it detects in CPU-Z, give it a restart, and then we're going to jump right into that Counter-Strike benchmark. So pretty much no fuss there, and as you can already see, look how much smoother and more beautiful this looks. I mean, this is, it's an old game for sure, but compared to running off that integrated mystery GPU, this is a night and day of a difference for $35. So we're going to let this benchmark complete, and let's see those final FPS numbers. Something that's kind of surprising is how much computing has advanced since I really started playing games back in the mid 2000s. So it's like 2005, 2007-ish. I mean, something like this, would have been breathtaking back then. Now kind of just looks like a potato. And we are rounding that final corner, and here we go. 280 FPS. That is a huge difference from our original 14 FPS off that mystery GPU. So now let's throw right back into Half-Life 2 where we left off in the water canal. So already you can see that looks way better, way more responsive, and we're actually running at 1080p in this one. Last machine just could not handle that without a addition of a GPU, which with only 16 mega VRAM, honestly, I really can't blame it. But this basically plays better than my original experience playing Half-Life 2. So it's kind of, cool to see how you can use this old data center hardware with a few cheap, easy eBay upgrades, and you can go play some old stuff. I mean, there are cheaper ways to do any of this, and this whole video is kind of just like a what if, can it be done, how does it work? So a little unnecessary, but fun nonetheless. So I'm playing in 2x speed to just kind of run through this and not bore you guys too much. I mean, this is more than playable. Actually a fairly decent experience. So it feels like it's holding at least 60 FPS. I know these Dell monitors that I'm using, they're nothing too special, and they have a maximum 60 hertz refresh rate. So more than that, I can't really expect. I also have VSync turned off to just try to get a few more frames out of it and make it feel a little more juicy. I also don't know why I'm throwing grenades at the Manhattans, but yeah, we're in it. In my poor playing, I'm not blaming that on the system at all. That is definitely me after not really playing any Half-Life games in quite some time, besides that other video, and definitely feeling a little rusty. So we're just going to blaze through this last little part, and then we're going to jump right back into some mystery games that decided not to launch last time. Again, I think Half-Life is a pretty beautifully made game, pretty amazing story, and I hope Valve cranks out a few more. So now we're jumping back in Doom. Let's see how this goes. So I have all the stats and everything turned on the right side of the screen, as you can see. We're comfortably holding around 60 FPS. Frame times at 17 milliseconds. That is okay-ish, I guess. You can see we're spiking some red on those graphs with the GPU, so we're definitely kind of pushing that. I am running in the Vulkan mode of this game because I know it often offers a OpenGL or a Vulkan. I know AMD likes the Vulkan, so we're just going to run that. Again, I haven't played Doom in quite some time, so pardon my lack of skill here. So I'm just going to blaze through, kill some enemies. Again, watch that FPS number in the top right. That is very, very playable for a $35 GPU, I think. It's kind of crazy with, this many threads and cores. If you look at the right side of the screen, you can see for some reason it's deciding to move the processes for the game around on different cores. So it really seems to like CPU core 20, and then a bunch of others just kind of flare up. So I don't know what exactly it's doing. Maybe in Task Manager I should have set the process allocation to a set number of threads to kind of smoothen things out, because I don't know if that's actually causing any performance degradation. But overall, I mean, we're holding 60 FPS, and at 1080 this is very playable. Now revisiting Portal, if you guys remember how poorly those first few scenes were on the part 2 video, this is night and day. The lighting looks so much better. Everything kind of just flows. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. You guys don't want to see me attempt to think through this chamber in real time. But overall, the lighting, the effects, and everything feels like you're getting at least 60 FPS out of this GPU for this one. Again, very playable. With the cooling on this machine, you just kind of hear that background fan whine. I'll try to get a sound clip of that for y'all, but I mean, this isn't really stressing anything CPU-wise, so it's not going to spin up, and the CPU and chassis fans are louder than the GPU could ever get anyways, so you don't really have to worry about hearing that little tiny blower fan of that GPU. Jumping back into some of these older games really makes me miss how amazing these were when they first came out, and how much fun it was to follow this series. And I really haven't found any games that have captivated me quite like the Source games. I'd say the next closest one would be probably the Halo series. But yeah, as you can see, elevator loaded, no issues, everything's good. So just for kicks, I was like, yeah, I'll just download Black Ops. I haven't played, this game, and I can't even tell you how many years. And well, let's just see what happens if you run it on something like this. So this is like the only FPS shooter with multiplayer that I figured I would try. And sure enough, it loaded. We're running at 1080 with, I believe, like medium plus settings. And let's see if I can, get some kills or capture a flag. So overall, you could see that is very smooth, very responsive. And of course, I get grenaded right off the beginning, and you can see my frustration there. But kind of shows I haven't played this in so long, and wow, that was pretty bad on that guy. I mean, feels pretty smooth. Everything seems to run pretty okay. Honestly, kind of impressed because this system was never intended to do anything quite like this, and yet it kind of will just take it. I know there are seriously more powerful GPUs you could throw into a device like this, but I think that kind of takes away from what makes it special. I mean, this isn't, going to be your AAA, title slayer. This is just kind of like, can you just, as a proof of concept, like what can you kind of run on this thing? Eventually, either part 4 or part 5 of this series, I am going to try something kind of crazy that will involve keeping the lid of the chassis open, which I'll just kind of tease you guys with that. And I'm also going to do something with a crazy amount of RAM. I'm going to try to run a RAM disk and load the operating system and the games themselves fully into RAM before playing them. I don't know how well that's going to go, and that's going to kind of be all up in the air, but hey, that's what this video series is kind of about, just playing and seeing, like, can you do it? So it felt pretty good to jump back into Black Ops. Really made me miss the older style of Call of Duties. These new ones get overly complicated in my opinion and really take away from, what made the game special. Personally, I don't care about 1,000 different attachments on every gun. I don't care about gun skins. I don't care about having to do these ridiculous challenges that take a tremendous amount of hours just to, get a weapon that's slightly more powerful than the baseline ones. Not really a fan of that. This old level up like style and series of the older games definitely was more up my bag, and it's cool to see people still playing these older style Call of Duty games. I also think it's kind of absurd, while I'm just ranting, the system requirements to run some of these newer Call of Duties. I mean, you got the entire game itself is right around like 100 gigs, and then you need a tremendous amount of VRAM and all this other stuff. I mean, yeah, you got some slightly more beautiful textures, but on top of that, it kind of takes away from what the game was. Now you have to have this elite piece of hardware just to kind of play with your friends. Or you could buy a console, but the consoles suck, in my opinion. So overall, this thing was kind of a cool proof of concept. It just took it. It just played the games, and it was kind of fun jumping into some of these older games in a way that felt true to the time when they first came out. If you're interested in something like this, I'll post a bunch of links in the description where I got some of these parts. I'll also try to help you guys answer any questions that I can if you want to build something as absurd as this. But looking at those WX3100s, I mean, here you go, $30 or best offer. So yeah, jump on eBay, start looking at these things, start throwing some people some low offers, and sure enough, you could nab one of these things for almost nothing. The WX2100s are also incredibly cheap. $12. There you go. 27, 29. Again, just like start throwing some people some offers. $19.99. Kind of cool what you can do with some of this old hardware. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you on part 4 of this series. Stay blessed.